Day 100 of my manifesting journey. On April 3rd, I started this journey. I was at the lowest point of my life. A month later, I started making videos. I've made videos for 100 consecutive days. Yesterday, I talked about free will, the fact, and it is a fact, that free will is basically an illusion, okay, as evidenced by the changes that have happened in my life over the course of the last 4 months. I've had countless firsts, okay? It's not because I didn't think enough about stuff. It's not because I wasn't trying hard enough to figure this stuff out. It's because trying, efforting, all of that stuff that everybody teaches you, a lot of the environments that you grew up in, and that advice, put the pedal to the metal, always do your best. It's great, and it gets you a little bit here and there, okay? But in order to make massive changes, in order to change who you are, you must absolutely 100% change your state of consciousness. And the only way to change your states of consciousness, or your current state of consciousness, is by falling asleep in the wish fulfilled and impressing the subconscious mind with something different. That is the only way. Okay? If you've changed before, that's because you were doing something during the day. Like, let's say you're thinking to yourself right now and you're like, well, I've changed my body before. I've lost, 70 pounds. But if you went and if you hired a trainer and you started going to the gym and doing all of these things through willpower and motivation, the only reason you were able to sustain it is because you then believed enough in what you were doing that you started falling asleep with something different, with different feelings. And so you impressed the subconscious mind with those new feelings, and then the subconscious mind changed everything on the external world, including your body. Your body is also part of the simulation, okay? So if things have changed in your life, that's why they've changed, okay? But majority of what's happening in our lives stays the same because we don't know this stuff. I'm 48, and like I said, I just came across this. It wasn't for the fact that I wasn't trying hard enough. I'd been in self-help for almost 25 years, trying all different kinds of things, okay? Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, Joe Dispenza, Sadhguru, and the list goes on and on and on. And I committed myself to their philosophies over and over and over again. Sometimes I would come back to the same person and think maybe I wasn't doing it right. So I would try it again. But it is literally as simple as the 5 steps that I laid out, okay, in that playlist. 5 steps to creating the life of your dreams. If you watch those 5 steps, maybe it's not the most professional, okay? Maybe it doesn't have the best lighting. Maybe it doesn't have the best background. All right. But the information that I talk about in those 5 steps, if you just focus on that and you apply it, your life will change 100%. All right. So yesterday, again, I talked about free will. There's no free will. And when you can remind yourself of that, then you can detach and not get involved in the thinking as much. It's going to be hard to change and stop on a dime, okay? So it's going to be a gradual process, gradual, okay? Falling asleep in the wish fulfilled, everything, changing the person you want to become, it's going to be a gradual change. But if you start today, you can start feeling a difference tomorrow. And over the first week, you fall asleep in the wish fulfilled every single night. Maybe you're not the best at it. right off the bat. But that's how life works, right? Even the things that you're good at now, when you started those things, there's a learning process. All right. You probably sucked the first time you did things that you're great at now. And why is that? Because you kept doing it and practice over and over and over. And you just kept getting better and better and better. And this is just like that. All right. So if you don't see things, your physical world is not going to change right off the bat. You're going to start feeling internal changes. Okay. And then you build off of the internal changes. You take those small wins that I talked about. If you wake up tomorrow and you feel a little bit different, that's it. Grab onto that and hold on to that and just say to yourself, wow, that's something different. I'm looking at that different than I was seeing that yesterday. It's going to be so subtle, but if you just keep grabbing onto them, okay, like those bars that you used to, the monkey bars you used to swing on as a kid, or just walking up steps. It's just little steps. And it doesn't matter how fast you get to the destination, because what's the rush anyway? When you get to the destination, it's over. Okay? So enjoy the journey, enjoy the small steps. All right? So back to, again, once again, free will, just an illusion. All right? So I just touched on that. Again, that's detaching. All right? And that's one part of it. The other part of it is moving into that new person. And how can you move into the new person faster? How can you accelerate the process? By during the day asking yourself questions. Okay, if I was this new person, if I was already the person that I wanted to become, if I was him, if I was her right now, would I be doing this? Or what would I be doing? How would I be seeing this? How would that person, me, the future me, the me that I could be right now, how would that person be seeing these things? How would that person be looking at this? How would that person feel right now? If they had all these things, if I already had $30 million in my bank account, how would I feel? And then that's the work. You just gradually feel yourself into that. And the better and better you get at it, the easier it's going to be to take it into your sleep state. And that moment in time, SATs, when you cross over that moment and give that and impress the subconscious mind with that over and over and over again, your world gradually changes. And then 4 months down the road, you go from where I was at the lowest point of my life on April 3rd, maybe not the lowest point physically, but definitely my lowest point mentally. I was tapped out. I was done. Okay. And now we're a little more than 4 months later. I'm happier than I've ever been. All right. We just went out, another, shopping with my wife and daughter, and we're looking for things for the house and for my daughter's room. Like, we've done that once in 10 years. I remember the one time we went to Home Goods and we were buying stuff we had a front room. We had just moved into our house. Okay. This was like 9 years ago. The last time this kind of thing happened. We took our daughter out for a yes day a couple weeks ago. We didn't have money to do this stuff. Okay. 2 Teslas that I talked about. Everything is changing. My whole world is changing. And yours can too. Okay. Not special. I'm not. All right. I'm just consistently falling asleep in the wish fulfilled. It's my number one priority. It's what I think about all day, every day, continually feeling myself into that person, asking myself questions, doing the techniques to keep my vibration and my energies up here. And then you just gradually become that guy or that girl. Lion's Den, Brent, Kate, and Shadow Flare. All staying consistent, all falling asleep in the wish fulfilled, all changing their lives. All right, if you want to join the Lion's Den, just start posting. Say, hey, fell asleep in the wish fulfilled last night. Write a little note. I'll welcome you aboard, and then I'll shout you out in the next video. All right, so that's going to be it for today, Saturday night. Enjoy your Saturday night. I'm going to enjoy my Saturday night. I enjoy my every night now. Before, it was few and far between where I could say I enjoyed anything. Okay, now I enjoy every moment of every day. All right, you can too. I love you all. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you tomorrow, day 101.